Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to episode 88 of the Game Room Podcast. I'm Rome.
I'm Dev.
Man, we are back after what has ended up being an unexpected, what was it, 3-week hiatus?
3 weeks, yeah.
It was crazy month so far. Number one started off World's ending.
Mm-hmm.
World's on fire. Complete shit show.
It's currently on fire, I think.
It's currently on fire.
Yeah.
More importantly, Birds are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, go Birds.
Go Birds. But yeah, man, what a month it's been already, right? Because it's like, so we did the 2025 preview show, and it's actually been a pretty decently news filled couple of weeks. But you ended up having to cancel,
Yeah.
and then we ended up going to the Eagles game, and then I ended up going to a Flyers game the next day, and somewhere in between there, I got really sick. And it was bad. Even tonight, excuse me if I just break into a coughing fit, because I don't. And it's going around apparently. Everyone I'm talking to, people at work, other people that I don't work with that are my friends. I talk to them and I'm like it just feels like a lot of people are getting sick right now. So hopefully, you're avoiding that.
Yeah. Hopefully I don't get sick.
Well, the thing is, I'm past the point of sickness. I just have this cough that I just can't shake. I feel fine. It's just this cough. So we went to the Eagles game, and then I got sick, so then we canceled the pod. And then the next week, you had to cancel.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling that well.
Yeah, you weren't feeling well. So maybe you did get sick.
Yeah.
And then, we're just on this magical run with the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to the Super Bowl. Bought this Jalen Carter jersey during the Snow Bowl game, at the end of the Snow Bowl game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it came in today.
Nice.
It's weird because it's the first Eagles jersey that I've bought since the Eagles changed the letter wording.
Oh, okay.
So, it's really weird, but I got it today, and I was it's not, the same Eagles logo.
As the older ones.
As, that I've, seen for, the last, 20 years. Your hat that you're wearing right now.
Yeah.
So, it's different, but, I love it. Jalen Carter, we owe it to him. He saved the postseason, so.
He really did.
I sat there, I was like, you do not play with the football gods. I told the football gods, after Jalen Carter saved the season, if the Eagles won that game, I was going to buy the jersey. I'm a man of my word at the end of the day. There's the first of many probably coughs, so buckle up. But anyways,
it's not a long pod today. It's kind of light still, beginning of the year.
I mean, it might end up going long just because of conversation, but I mean, we'll see where we go. But anyways, this is the Game Room Podcast, where we try to get together every week and talk about video games, all the news, to get you ready for the next week. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, join our Discord, which you can find in the description below. And yeah, we're just going to get right into it. Number one in the headlines, there was an Xbox Developer Direct this past week. We're going to kind of go through it, give our thoughts on the games that we saw. And I mean, I'm just going to kind of start right off the bat. I thought it was a really excellent showing. It really checked a lot of boxes for me. Admittedly, there's one game that I just don't super care about, but I have to admit that it looks really good.
I actually have a game like that too. There's one that.
Okay, I'm interested to see which game it is for you, because I can tell you which one it is for me when we get to it. Okay. Which is going to be right off the bat. So, number one announced was the mystery game. Ninja Gaiden 4 announced at the Xbox Developer Direct from the developers at Team Ninja and Platinum Games. Ninja Gaiden 4 was announced during the Direct last Thursday. The game's announcement confirms the rumors that a legendary Japanese IP was going to see a game announced during the event. To all the Master Ninjas around the world, after more than 10 years, the wait is finally over, Team Ninja's Fumihiko Yasuda said. We're excited to announce Ninja Gaiden 4, a new mainline entry in this high-speed action series, where you become the ultimate ninja and take on relentless enemies in fierce combat. The game is launching on fall 2025, coming to Xbox Series consoles, PS5, and PC. The game will be a day one Game Pass launch, as are all of the games that were shown at the Direct. So for me, I think this game looks really good. It's not a genre that usually captures me. Mm-hmm. I love Bayonetta, for example, mm-hmm. and there are other games in the genre that I really enjoy. But usually the action genre, like this kind of action genre, is a genre that's really kind of hit or miss for me. But it looks really cool from a aesthetic standpoint, and obviously, Ninja Gaiden is one of the more legendary action titles out there.
Yeah.
But I think this looks good, but it's not. Admittedly, it's not one that like I was like, holy crap, here we go. But I mean, for the Ninja Gaiden fans, I'm sure that it's going to be very good. Ty says, I have a comment that might trigger you guys. I think South of Midnight should be delayed to allow it to go multi-plat for PS5 and Switch 2. Small indie games, I think indies should... Did he hit the...
Yeah, it cut off. That's the last of it on my...
I guess so, yeah. That's weird. Well, we'll talk about South of Midnight. No, I don't think that they should delay it necessarily.
I think it's going to come to those consoles anyway. South of Midnight seems like one of those games.
He says...
Should be everywhere.
I think indies should be everywhere. Games like Doom and Avowed can get a time exclusive, sure, but a small game like Hellblade or Pentiment Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush should be multi-plat. I think that they're actually going to be doing away with the timed exclusives even very soon, believe it or not. Which we'll talk about that later. Me personally, no, I don't think you need to delay it. You can put it out when it's ready. I mean, I don't think it hurts the sales of South of Midnight. If you launch it on Xbox and then 6 months later it comes to PlayStation and Switch 2, I don't think it's that big of a deal where you need to delay the Xbox version. I just don't think that's I think we're in agreement that like people aren't going to buy an Xbox for South of Midnight at this point. So it's like the people that are going to play South of Midnight on their Xbox.
You want that game.
Yeah, but they're like nobody's going to like, oh, I'm not buying South of Midnight because it came out on Xbox first. Like it's just not like
it's not that kind of game.
I don't think any of these games at this point are that kind of thing. Like it's like I just disagree, Ty. I don't think it really matters. Like it's the game's gonna.
I think also, especially right now, I think like you said before, this might be the last year where we're gonna get like a game like South of Midnight being a timed exclusive. I think in the future, games like that, those smaller games.
I think all the games. I think
all of them.
Well, I mean, we're gonna talk about it later, but Phil Spencer said this past week, like there are no red lines. There are no there's nothing. There's no limits. So. I do think that they're going to move away from the timed exclusivity even very quickly. But again, we'll get to that later. Let's stay focused. So yeah, Ninja Gaiden 4 looks really good. They also shadow announced and shadow dropped Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, built in Unreal Engine 5. This is a remake of Ninja Gaiden 2, which was the game that came out on Xbox 360 back in 2008. I thought this was a really cool thing to have, like a shadow drop. It's always cool to do a showcase and you have one of those it's available today things.
Yeah, I like that.
Plus a game like this, I just think it's really cool. And again, it's on Game Pass day one, man. It's just there. So, what were your thoughts on Ninja Gaiden?
No, I this one I'm excited for actually. I really like this one. Platinum, I think, makes the best action games. I don't think there's any studio that makes an action game as good as Platinum.
No, for sure. Bayonetta.
Yeah, Bayonetta, Nier Automata. I love that game. So, yeah, I'm excited for this game. Strictly on the gameplay stuff. I like the gameplay that I saw. I don't know the story of Ninja Gaiden that well.
Right.
But, yeah, this looks cool.
Yeah. Well, there it is. Yeah, so that's going to be a fall 2025 release date. Next up, we saw South of Midnight. And it did get a release date for April 8th. South of Midnight was something that I've been looking forward to for a long time. I was really intrigued by Compulsion Games' We Happy Few. I thought it kind of hit like a lot of kind of like BioShock-y vibes. Like I just really enjoyed the premise of it. I felt like the game
they kind of fumbled it towards the end half of the game. But
yeah, the game's really lacking, but I think it's a product of its funding, where it's like the first third is amazing, and then they kind of just run it back like 3 more times, and you have to like it just becomes very repetitive, and I found myself very uninterested in it. I think if they had more money and more time to cook that game, like that concept could have been really turned into something special.
I actually like the idea that you play as other characters and you kind of run it back and you see their side of it.
I mean, yeah, but I think from a gameplay perspective, to me, it just started. I found it repetitive.
To feel okay.
Like I'm okay with running it back from a narrative perspective, but I wanted to see something that kind of sets it apart as opposed to just doing the same thing 4 times. Which for me, that was kind of how I felt. That being said, like every time that we've seen South of Midnight shown. It was funny because when I was sick, which being sick as an adult, totally different than being sick as a kid. Because like when you're a kid, like you're homesick, like you just like I'm gonna play games. I'm so behind. I played a little bit of Indiana Jones this month, but like I just didn't feel like doing anything with. So like instead of playing games, I watched 2-hour video essays on why Tears of the Kingdom is a disappointing Zelda game, and things like that. But Xbox had put out like last month like a 30-minute deep dive into South of Midnight before the developer direct, which I thought was kind of an interesting choice. But I watched that, and then watching this, like I'm really excited for South of Midnight. It seems like a game that's like again, it's kind of got that actiony thing going, which again really could be hit or miss for me.
Yeah,
but just the world, the music, the narrative, the art design, like I'm really like interested in like experiencing the world of South of Midnight, and hopefully the gameplay can really kind of can get me where I need it to be. But like every time I look at this game and they're showing me like the art style and the design, the narrative, and the audio, it's just like I'm just so intrigued.
Yeah.
And like the stop motion, like I know that like the stop motion has a lot of like haters. I think it's cool, especially because the world around it isn't stop motion.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, I'm looking forward to experiencing this on my Series X like natively, as opposed to just watching it like on a YouTube video. But I'm really excited for this one, and it got a release date of April 8th. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, almost the exact same thing. I love everything about it. The art style is probably my favorite thing about it. It looks gorgeous. The gameplay looks very... The gameplay already looks old. Like, watching the gameplay, it's like, man, I played so many games like this in, like, the 360. Like, I think of Darksiders especially.
Darksiders was the one that came to my mind, too, when I was watching the game. But you love Darksiders.
I love Darksiders, but it's like, it looks like Darksiders 3 specifically, and that's my least favorite Darksiders. Like, I really like the other two, so it's like... but everything else about the game I really love. This is a game I'm going to play. It seems like a short game, too, like a short narrative.
Yeah, I believe that they said... One of the previews said that it was a shorter game as well. I forget which one. I think it might have been IGN's preview said it was like a 20-hour game, which... That's great.
Yeah,
that's what I want, man.
That's pretty cool.
I don't need any more 100-hour games. Like, I don't have the time. Like, I want to play... I'd rather play an excellent 20-hour experience than, like, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Where it's
It depends. It depends for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
You try to get through 50 games a year.
Yeah. Well,
so
it's too many games. Next up, they showed off Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Got a release date for that as well. Also April 24th. Also April, but in April 24th. This game is a third-party game, which I believe they're publishing. I think. Claire Obscure is going to be kind of like a 30-hour game. They're saying again, this is another smaller game. Listen, it's a turn-based RPG with an excellent narrative, in my opinion. Like I'm like not excellent as in like I've played it, but excellent as in like I'm very excited to experience it.
yeah.
Again, this is another one kind of like South of Midnight, where like so this checks a lot of boxes for me. I'm a big fan of turn-based RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
Really love that genre. So that right there off the bat is like a big check. Watching the developer
This is very JRPG-ish. Like
it is.
That's
yeah. It's from like I think they were French. I forget the exact studio. But
and the premise of it, I really like the premise of it.
Yeah, the premise of the narrative is really good. The story seems really good. The art. This is again another
The
one.
characters.
The characters. I like the turn-based. Like this. Like we're looking at it right now. This just looks really good.
I'm not a turn-based guy, but if you tell me the game is full experience is like 30 hours, like that gets me in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a smaller team, and they're making a smaller game, and again, like this game. We talked about it last year when they showed off at the showcase, and where I was like, I was really like impressed with this game, and I still am. I'm very, very. Excited.
I wasn't that impressed last time because I didn't know anything about it. Seeing it now, it's like, oh yeah, this looks special.
Right. So yeah, again, this is another day one Xbox Game Pass release. They should reveal they have like an open map or world map, which will excite some people.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is one that much like South of Midnight, it checks a lot of boxes for me for something that I just really want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming out really soon, and that was like a really interesting an observation that I made, which I guess we'll talk about after we talk about this next game. which was finally to finish off the showcase. We saw gameplay of Doom: The Dark Ages, and it got a release date as well of May 15th of this year. Watching this gameplay, how I reacted to this was, holy shit, this looks incredible. Like, I was watching this gameplay, and again, we want to talk about checking boxes, right? Like, I'm like, for me, like, I want, like, when I see these games shown off, I want them to check the boxes because that means that, like, I'm in on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, as we go through this showcase, more boxes are checked for each game, where it's like Ninja Gaiden is like, it's cool, it checks a box or two because it's aesthetically pleasing. Then we get to South of Midnight, where it's like checks more boxes because, like, really outside of the gameplay, which we'll see how I feel about it. Really excited to experience the world, checking a lot of boxes there. Then we get to Clair Obscur, which checks even more boxes because it's a genre I really like. And then we get to Doom, and it's like, this is a game that checks every single box. It's just Doom. You know, I don't want to say the first two Dooms because obviously Doom's been around for decades.
But I know you mean. But I still haven't played the 2016 one, so I'm like,
that's fucking insane.
Yeah,
I actually had no idea. Maybe that was on the list actually.
Yeah, it was on the list, and I can't play it on PC. It's only on it's only on yeah, but it's not on PC Game Pass.
Really?
Yeah,
that's interesting. Well, we're gonna have to play it before May. So it's like, as someone who loved the first two of the Doom remake trilogy, let's call it, this game just it just kicks so much ass. It's so great, and I love when they're breaking down the gameplay of it, and they're talking about, like, the first game was run and gun, the second game was all about jumping around and acrobatics. This game is stand and fight.
Yeah, you're a
They're
tank.
Like, here's a shield, you're a tank, you're like, here's a mace, here's all the guns, here's the music, which admittedly it's not Mick Gordon doing the music this time around, but the music seemed good enough where I was happy with it. Like, it just seems improved in every way. The level design, it seems like they're really trying to make an emphasis or make an effort to have a narrative in this game, which the last two, really every Doom. But again, we're just talking about the remake trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
The remake trilogy doesn't do a good job with its narrative because it hides it all in codexes. Which people that play Doom, like, they may not care about the narrative. So people are like, whatever, yeah, just throw something in there in the codex. Me personally, I want to play a kick-ass shooter, but I want to experience a narrative as well. So, this time around, they're like, hey, we have this kick-ass Doom game, but our narrative, which usually gets thrown to the wayside, we're going to have it be part of the cutscenes. Like, we're going to have the narrative be in the game, which I'm all for. I'm very excited for it. You can get a giant mech. You can get a winged fucking eagle, cyber dragon thing, and like this game just looks so incredible. It kicks so much ass, and honestly, Xbox is really shaping themselves up to, regardless of where these games come out, if you're looking at it from an output perspective, that was something that I came away from this developer direct being really impressed with, was the fact that I thought this was going to be like, hey, here's Xbox's 2025. And it's not that. It's, hey, here's the first half of Xbox's 2025. Because I thought for sure, like, going into this, I was like, okay, like, South of Midnight will probably come out in, like, April. That one I expected. But, like, I thought that, like, Doom and Clair Obscur and this mystery game were all going to be, like, end of the year.
Oh, really? I thought Doom would be a summer game.
Well, like, I mean, like, past May.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be, like, August, personally.
But those are the only two I thought we were getting this half of the year.
But yeah, they're all.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you look at it, like, so they're starting with Avowed.
And I didn't even know about Ninja Gaiden. That was the secret one. So
yeah,
they
that's
got
a secret
5 games
and that's
coming.
now that one's fall.
Okay.
So that one is a fall game.
Right. But still.
I mean, if you look at it, it's like the first half of 2025 for Xbox. You have Avowed, and then you have South of Midnight, Clair Obscur, and then Doom. And it's just like, and there's a lot of rumors that, like, Gears of War E-Day might launch this year. There's a lot of rumors that, I mean, not a lot of rumors. We know that there's going to be a new Call of Duty. We know that Ninja Gaiden's coming out in the fall. It's like, and you would assume with the Xbox showcase in June, there'll probably be something else coming up their sleeve, whether it be some expansions. We know we're getting more Starfield stuff at some point. I don't know if they're doing anything else with Indiana Jones, but maybe they want to do that. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think that there's a lot of opportunity here. I think that Xbox, I actually was about to say it, and Ty pretty much just said it as soon as I was about to. He says Xbox is pretty impressive. Phil's vision is coming to be, if they keep being consistent, all these games are dope until the start of next gen, Phil will get a lot more points. And I agree. I think that this was the vision that Phil Spencer had all along, and like, it sucks that the industry. Not that it sucks, but I would have loved to have seen the timeline where Xbox says, "Hey, we're gonna like keep trying to do the traditional console method." Like, could you imagine if this lineup, like, just out of sheer curiosity, I would love to see the universe where like Doom, South of Mid, like all of these games
are exclusive to Xbox.
Yeah. Indiana Jones exclusive to Xbox. I would love to have seen, and that was always my big gripe with it, where it's like, I wish they would have tried.
Yeah.
Like, if that's the future, that's the future. But like, I really would have loved to have seen Xbox give it a year of like, hey, we finally have these games. Let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens.
I agree with you, and I think it would have helped them. It would have helped Xbox's brand, but like Ty's gonna say, that doesn't bring in the money.
Yeah, and I get it.
I think they did try with other games like Starfield and.
The problem is that like.
I know. This lineup is insane. This lineup of games for this year is crazy.
And like look, I get it. I love Starfield
because they could.
I understand why others may not, which is why maybe it wasn't that big hit that it needed to be.
But they could have said, "Hey, these games are exclusive to Xbox," and if they didn't make enough money next year, say, "Hey, these games are coming out to other systems."
Yeah,
we're going whatever.
But so yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to see where Xbox goes with this year. But it's like, man, like. All these great games come in, first half of the year, and like, look, like they're going to be elsewhere. But as Xbox's, and we're going to talk about what Phil Spencer envisions as Xbox's competitive edge in the platform space, in a little bit. But look, at the end of the day, like wherever you play these games. But as a Game Pass customer, damn, do I feel good, because it's like all of these games, all 5 of these games, because I'm counting both Ninja Gaidens. Coming to Game Pass day one, like it's just crazy to me. Like I look at Doom, this looks like a Game of the Year contender.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and we're talking in 2025, a year where like if it comes out this year, GTA 6 is gonna be apparently coming out. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
whatever secret games,
whatever Nintendo has, a 3D Mario game. This is a game that like I really feel like based off what we've seen alone, like I think it could be in the running for Game of the Year this year. And it's just going to be there day one with Game Pass, along with South of Midnight, along with Clair Obscur, along with everything else that they're adding in. You know what I mean? So it's like, I really came away from the Xbox Developer Direct as a Game Pass customer first, very happy with it. But that's just me. Any final thoughts on the Developer Direct?
No, it looked great.
Yeah.
I'm excited for games.
Yes. Number 2 in the headline. So again, we didn't do a show for like the last 3 weeks. So this is one that we're kind of retroactively kind of reaching back a little bit, and we're going to talk about because it was a really big story. One that we were talking about ad nauseum. It felt like for a few weeks there. We got the official Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. Nintendo shared the first details about the Switch 2 in a video that they dropped at a really weird time. First of all, so like I was at work. They dropped it at 7 a.m. Eastern time, which didn't align with any time zone in like the usual, like when they usually drop stuff.
Yeah.
It's usually like if like as far as like East Coast goes, it's usually like 9 o'clock, 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 5 p.m. That's usually like the 4 time slots you could expect something on the East Coast. And they dropped it at 7. And like apparently in Japan it wasn't even a good time. Like Nintendo's just
They're Nintendo.
They're Nintendo. Yeah. And it's frustrating. I'm still like I'm not in a great place with Nintendo right now, and like until they give me more games, it's we gotta see. So I feel like we're gonna get into a little bit of a disagreement here. But so they show this video that you're playing right now, and obviously very excited for the Switch 2. First impression is terrible name. Should have been Super Switch. I think number 1. Number 2.
I agree, but I get it.
I get it as well. I'm not mad, but I think a Super Switch would have been a lot better of a name. I came away from this reveal really unimpressed. Not that's not how I want to describe it. I came away from this reveal thinking, man, I just don't think it's a good reveal for the console. For us, as people who are in the know, I think, like, we're excited. It's the next Nintendo console. It's a formula that works. And for once, Nintendo is doing, I don't want to say the smart thing, but they're doing the obvious thing. Where it's like, hey, just run it back. Make a better Switch and run it back. And I think that that's a winning formula. And I think that it's a great idea. That being said, I thought that this reveal fell really flat because it doesn't... If you're an average viewer, you're probably not picking up on how this is much different than the Switch. Yes, it's bigger. That's the only thing that I come away from this. Like, it's really clear as day. It's like, oh, it's bigger. Mm-hmm. But if you're like an average customer, like, for me, I thought this reveal kind of came across as like another like Wii kind of thing. Do I think it's as bad? No, I don't think it's as bad. But if you're watching this reveal, I think they needed to have more games at the reveal. And I know that we disagreed about this when we were talking about it a couple weeks ago. I just think that, like, I'm excited for a Switch 2. I'm excited for this console. But I think, like, if you watch the reveal with no context of anything else that's going on, you're just an average, like, casual gamer, even like a more core gamer, and you just don't pay attention to all the news and stuff, you're probably like, oh, is that it? Like, what? Like, that's it? And I think that, like, so they have this direct, they announced at the end of the Nintendo Switch 2 video that there's a direct 4 games on April 2nd. And I think, for me personally, I thought that was a misstep. Is it going to affect them? Probably not. But again, we're just kind of talking analytically here. I think that direct should have been like the next week, or make an announcement saying, hey, we're going to show off the Switch 2 on April 2nd with games. I think that putting the games with the console would have been a much better reveal, because what you're looking at here is like, so they very coyly show the new Mario Kart, right? Mm-hmm. But it's second-hand footage, because it's like, you're not looking at direct footage, you're looking at footage on a screen, mm-hmm. and like they're not really showing it off, so it's like the only people that really picked up that it's a new Mario Kart are keen-eyed fans who know things and like go frame by frame. If you're just watching this 3-minute video once, you're probably not picking up that it's a brand new Mario Kart game. And so I came away from this reveal, like, I'm excited for the platform, but looking at it from an analytical standpoint, I just think it's a bad reveal. They give you some good information at the end of the video, which I'm happy about. Obviously, so the Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible with the first Switch, which I think is a tremendously great idea.
That was a necessity, honestly.
It really was, and I'm very happy with it. So the real question is, what am I going to do with my original Switch? Because I don't want to get rid of my Zelda Joy-Cons, but I don't need my Switch 1 anymore if all my Switch 1 games play on the Switch 2. So I'm kind of in a little conundrum. I don't know what I'm going to do. Because I want to try to trade in the Switch 1. They try to recoup some of that cost.
But you got to transfer. They're not... Nintendo's not the best with transferring over accounts and, like...
Well, no, the account's not the problem. I mean,
save files and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's not the biggest thing in the world for me. I really just don't know what I'm going to do with these Joy-Cons, because I don't want to get rid of them. They're really beautiful Zelda Joy-Cons.
Yeah, I would say keep the Joy-Cons. You only got to return the red and blue ones if you trade it in. So
yeah, it's true.
I
was gonna say, why don't you read Ty's chat real quick?
He asked me if I remember the Xbox Series X reveal, the images, the videos with Alan in the background. Amazing hype level. Switch reveal was garbage, flop.
I agree. I think the Switch reveal it wasn't a good reveal. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be a success. That doesn't mean the games aren't going to be fire. It doesn't mean that this direct on April 2nd, which during my birthday week, which is also my vacation week, let's go. I'm very excited for this direct. But like, if you're talking about a reveal,
I think it's crazy that you think people saw this and they weren't excited. They just went, I think that's insane to me. That you saw, like, you think that people out there watch this, saw the Switch 2, it's a 2-minute and 22-second video, 222, and they went, whatever. Like, I don't know anyone who, I don't get it. I do think for the more people that are in depth, they were less excited because everything got leaked. You know, like
I mean, like I get what you're saying.
if,
Yes,
if it
that
came,
probably does
if
help.
this dropped before all the leaks, the excitement would be higher.
So I'm gonna actually push back on that because if you watch the reveal, we wouldn't know about anything new about this console if those leaks hadn't existed.
That's fine.
No, but I'm saying if you watched this reveal trailer, if you sat down with no prior knowledge of the leaks and you watched this Switch 2 trailer, the Switch 2 trailer doesn't really tell you anything about these leaks. That mouse functionality, you wouldn't know it existed if you're watching it. Just you think like the whole video is the Switch being moved around and being all like they're trying to be fancy with how they're moving it around. So these two Joy-Cons just being like little mouse, if the leak didn't come out about the mouse functionality, would you have watched that and been like, oh, are those mouses now? No, it just looks like a really like they're trying to be artsy and like
no, but
the whole joystick's moving around. Like,
do you think Nintendo? For me, everything that they showed was purposely. They knew people were going to go frame by frame with this video. Even with the Mario Kart stuff, I watched a bunch of Mario Kart videos and people were like, they intentionally did things where it's like they knew people were going to go frame by frame on this. They knew they show the optical sensor on it and then they show it, moving around as mice. They know that people were going to.
So my question to you is, do you think that Nintendo anticipated the leaks and revealed their console in a way? Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, let's say the mouse functionality thing, the mystery C button, like all of these leaks.
Didn't exist.
They didn't exist, and you watch this video. Like, you don't learn anything new about the system outside the fact that it's bigger. And
That's not true.
Switch 1.
You don't think you see the optical sensor on the Switch. You see it when they turn it.
I don't think it does enough to show you that.
I'll go back. You can see it.
No, please do. But I'm just saying, if you're watching the reveal, it doesn't like.
If you watch the reveal one time, yes, you're not going to know.
No, I've watched it a few times. I'm saying like they're clearly trying to be very like funky and fresh, and like the way they're moving the system around and doing cute stuff with it, and the way like the joysticks kind of move, and it's like whoa. It's like clearly they're just trying to be like crazy with it. So like, if you don't know about those leaks about the mouse functionality and the Joy-Cons just kind of go and they're like chasing each other, like you don't like, are you like, you're going to assume like, whoa, is that a mouse functionality? Like, I don't think so.
I think the reason this didn't need the in-depth thing, it's a sequel console. Like, we talked about this before.
Right, which is why the games are even more important, because it's not a new concept.
But you don't need to do much with the reveal of the console. I think
when they revealed the Switch, they had a whole lineup of games ready.
Well, yeah, the Switch was the first of its kind. This is the Switch 2. This is the same thing that we already have, just big. Like you said, it's bigger. The games are way more important than the console.
Exactly, you just said it. The games are more important than the console.
But this is just the console reveal. But this is the console reveal.
Right, we should have games with it.
It doesn't need to.
I don't have the voice to do this, Dev.
But you don't need to have the games at the console reveal. Reveal the console. It's the Switch 2. It's a bigger Switch. Okay, I want a full in-depth Nintendo whatever that you're going to do for games when that happens.
Right, but it should.
But you have to show the console first. It doesn't have to be at the same time.
They should have opened the Direct like, this is the Switch 2.
Let the Switch 2
play this 2-minute video. It's like, all right, let's talk about the console.
The Switch 2
let's talk about the games.
Let the Switch 2 have its light and it's a big deal. It's a Switch 2.
Listen, I'm not saying I'm not excited.
And then do the games later for your Direct. But like,
it was a bad reveal. I think it's gonna be a great system. I'm very excited for it. I'm very excited for the Direct. I just think if you look at it, it's like,
and that's the optical sensor right there. Like,
right, but it's just like if you're looking at that, it just looks like it's an extent. It's like
that's not on the original Joy-Cons.
Well, no, yes, I understand that, but the thing is that the whole point of it's the magnets, and like for all you know,
that doesn't look like a magnet.
You don't know that.
It looks exactly like an optical sensor on the mouse, on every mouse across the world.
Right, but they should say that then.
They knew people were going to do what I'm doing right now.
It's crazy. It was a bad reveal. It's okay. The ninjas aren't going to come for you, Devereaux.
No, Ty, I'm not going to put the original Switch 1 trailer on because the original Switch 1 trailer was something new. It was something exciting. It was something that hasn't been done before. This is the
Get him, Ty. Get him. Get him.
He's not. What is he getting?
He schooled you.
Okay, you guys showed me. Like, this is the Switch 2 reveal. I thought it was going to be behind a black case and they were going to lift off a blanket and be like, the Switch 2.
Bro, that's so, like, 30 years ago.
Oh, and Nintendo's very far, like, what are you talking about? They still can't even get online right. The Switch 2, one of the biggest things on it is it might have a microphone on it.
You're just, like, again, I don't know how you look at this and be like, yeah, it was a no-brainer that it's got a mouse functionality. Like, I'm just like, I don't think so at all.
You don't think the mice running around?
I didn't think it was that. I don't think it's that clear. Again, it is what it is. I just don't think it was a very good reveal.
Okay. I think it was. I think it was a fine reveal. Again, it was a console reveal.
That Direct is going to be a great console reveal.
Like, why weren't there games at the console reveal?
I love how, like, there was like, it's all about the games. Games. Get a console reveal, no games. He's like, that was great.
Because it's a console reveal.
No problem here.
Why didn't they show sneakers at the console reveal?
What?
Exactly.
What are you...
Exactly.
What is he talking about? Were you really excited for this?
Yeah, because I'm not jaded. There's not a lot of happiness in the world. So when I see a Switch 2 reveal trailer, yeah, I get happy about it.
I'm happy too, but it
You
wasn't
don't
a
sound
good
like you
reveal.
and Ty just complaining.
It's a bad reveal.
Complaining.
It's a bad reveal. Crazy. I can't believe this.
There's nothing. What makes you guys happy?
I thought it was about the games. The last headline.
Not at the console reveal.
The last headline's like, finally, some games. My God. It's like, why can't we get more games? The next thing we talk about the Switch 2, he's like, there were no games. I don't know why we didn't get any games. Why do you have a problem? Why is that a problem? Why is that a problem?
It's a console
What's
reveal.
wrong with that?
It's a console reveal.
Yell into the mic. I'm sorry he yelled into the mic. Hopefully you're not.
It's a console reveal.
Alright, calm down. You can't yell into the mic.
They show a console reveal and you guys are like, where are the games? What? I don't understand. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Anyways, it wasn't a good console reveal. It's okay.
Crazy.
It's like, where are the games? Like,
Yeah, where are the games at the console reveal? The 2-minute and 22-second console reveal. Where are the games?
Right, but
insane.
that 2-minute video should have...
Insane.
That 2-minute video should have started the Direct, which would have talked about the games. That would have been a good
So you just want the
console.
Direct sooner? That's it?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, but that doesn't make the console reveal worse because the Direct is...
It does, because now you gotta wait 2 months. Like, alright, buddy, go ahead and see you in 2 months. No one's gonna fucking... It's like, whatever.
Yeah, no one's going to buy the Switch, yeah.
I did not
Yeah.
say that. That wasn't what I was saying. I was saying that no... It's not going to be in people's...
Yeah, they're going to forget about it.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
they're going to forget about it. No one's thinking about the Switch 2. Yeah.
I haven't seen many people talk about the...
Yeah, no one's talking about it at all. Yeah.
I'm just saying, I haven't seen a lot of discourse.
Mm-hmm. Sure you haven't.
I really haven't.
Okay.
Alright. Anyways. The problem is, I think I blew out my voice a little bit there. Number 3 in the headlines. Phil Spencer did some interviews with Gamertag Radio and Destin Legary. We're going to kind of run through and kind of bullet point some of these things that he was talking about. First up was how Ninja Gaiden 4 came to be, which, keep in mind, is being published by Xbox. It is an Xbox published game.
Okay.
Basically, Phil said that this was a project that we kind of knocked on some doors and said, hey, what if we made this game 6 or 7 years ago?
Is that really?
That's what he said. He said, and I quote, that was a project we kind of knocked on some doors and said, hey, what if, like 6 or 7 years ago? Phil also added in his latest interview with how Xbox's relations with Koei Tecmo are going great right now. He says, I feel great about our relationship with publishers in Japan. It's taken a lot of flights, a lot of FaceTime, a lot of listening, making sure I'm hearing their feedback. I think about Metaphor last year and our partnership on that game, the work we've done with Sega, being on stage with Square, but yesterday with Team Ninja, yesterday being when they showed off Ninja Gaiden 4, just to get to roll it out yesterday and see the response is fantastic. Honestly, this is the kind of thing I want to see from the big publishers. Is like, it's like, hey,
What games do you guys want?
yeah, like,
want to see?
like calling up the old publishers, like, hey, it's been a few years since you guys made a Ninja Gaiden. You want to make a new one? Cool, let's
Yeah.
do it. Like, I think that's really cool. Could you imagine they were like, Ninja Gaiden? We weren't gonna make another one of those. Feels like, here's a check.
I mean, that could have been.
We've always wanted to make another one. Some other stuff. Phil was talking about moving games to PlayStation and the future of Xbox consoles. Xbox is on a roll right now, but questions remain about the future viability of the platform. Since this time last year, it was revealed Microsoft is abandoning exclusivity for its Xbox platform A drip feed of Xbox games are heading to PlayStation and Nintendo consoles. It started with Sea of Thieves, and the next one will be Indiana Jones sometime in the spring. Windows Central reported recently that even iconic Xbox games like Halo are slated to hit PS5 and Switch 2 in the future, following comments from Xbox CEO Phil Spencer that the firm has no red lines over what games will go multi-platform. In that universe, you have to wonder exactly why someone might want to buy Xbox hardware in the future. Indeed, Xbox hardware has seen a year-over-year decline for several quarters, and a common-sense explanation could be the lack of exclusive games up to this point. But is that truly accurate? A new interview with Xbox CEO Phil Spencer on Gamertag Radio sought to shed some light on Microsoft Gaming's strategy and the trajectory Xbox is heading in. Paris Lilly asked Xbox CEO Phil Spencer, there is concern in the community that if you're putting games on other platforms, why would I still want an Xbox when I can get that experience on another platform? Phil described how Xbox can win using hardware innovation rather than exclusive games. I want people to pick hardware based on the capabilities of that hardware and how that fits into the choices they want to make about where they want to play. We want our hardware to win based on the hardware capabilities that we have. Spencer described how the most successful games in 2025 are simply games that are everywhere, describing games like Fortnite, Minecraft, and so on. Quote, I want to build a platform that service creators that are trying to meet people on every screen. Spencer reiterated previous comments from the likes of Sarah Bond that the firm remains all in on hardware, describing it as fundamental to Xbox. Quote, on our own hardware, I think it's fundamental to what Xbox is. It's not lost on me that box is in the name of our brand. I say from the position that I'm in, I look at hardware as a critical part of what we do, while not trying to gatekeep the games off of other places. So let's pause right there. So what are your thoughts so far on what Phil's talking about here? I actually thought this was a really interesting question because, again, it kind of coincides with this undertone that we have on this episode of the podcast where games are supposed to be the most important thing, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why the Switch 2 reveal is bad, correct?
No.
There it is. Hypocrisy at its finest, folks.
How is that hypocrisy?
Okay, well, I mean, why? What are your thoughts on Xbox saying that it doesn't matter where the games are? If we build the best hardware, people will go to that hardware.
I think that's...
Because I don't know if I agree with that sentiment.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with it either. Only because, I mean, their whole advertisement is everything is in Xbox, and as streaming gets better, you don't need the hardware necessarily. Like, you don't need an additional hardware besides, the TV that you have to play these games. It sounds contradictory to what they want to do.
I don't think it sounds contradictory, but I don't know. So here's the thing. I think Phil is trying to spin their decision to go multi-platform to today's audience. We've talked about it where gaming 10 years from now, like, obviously we don't know. It could go really poorly for them. But 10 years from now, maybe that's just what gaming is, where everybody except Nintendo puts their games everywhere. Where it's like PlayStation doesn't care about where they put their games because they want to make the software sales. And maybe that's the future.
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe.
Maybe it's not. I don't know. But, I mean, I think Xbox is trying to move towards the future, and I think the way they look at it is, I do think that there will continue to be an Xbox. Like, when I say that, I mean a physical box.
Mm-hmm.
I think that into the future, it's going to be just another avenue. I think they're going to look at it and they're going to say, hey, if you want, you can just stream our games. You can do that. We are offering you that choice. On the flip side, there may be people who want just a quick box to plug into your TV. Something that's basically a gaming PC that's pre-built. It's a console. And it's going to continue. They're going to continue to offer that. Now, are they going to create as many units as they did for the last generation or this generation? Probably not. But I think I could see them. It makes sense where they're like, hey, we're going to continue to offer hardware. And I think that's something that's not going to change, personally.
I think what you're saying, the stuff that he said is for the deep fans of Xbox. Mm-hmm. Because we already know that every Xbox sells at a loss. They lose money selling Xboxes.
I think everyone does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's consoles.
Yeah. And so by me saying, "Oh, I'm not getting another Xbox, but I'm going to stick with Game Pass," that's a win for them. That's what they want.
100%.
Yeah, they want people to
It's entry points.
Yeah.
It's all about entry points.
get Game Pass. We like
So here's the thing. Like, I'm gonna put it into like kind of how I look at it with my current job, right? So at my job, we have some like the big whenever like we talk like we hear from like our higher ups about like improving the business, right? It's not about doing our current order points better. Like, it is, but they're also like, well, we want to have more order points. We want to have more entry points where we could serve as many people as possible at the same time, right? Where it's like it used to be, as a general manager of a restaurant, like you would like, okay, you had two order points really. You had someone goes through the drive-through, someone goes through the lobby. Maybe you have two registers on the lobby. That's three order points, right? But now it's like, hey, we have 6 curbside spots where you can get a curbside order. That's 6 more customers. Like, also, your phone is a register because you go on the app and you place your order. We also have kiosks in the restaurant where it's like they want to have as many order points. You can also order on delivery apps. It's like they just want to maximize how you get your product, right? And I think Xbox, for lack of a better term, they're doing the same exact thing where it's like, hey, guess what? Like, they're going to continue to have these kiosks in the restaurants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you know you're going to go to that restaurant, just download the app and order it on your phone, right? But like, they're still going to have these kiosks available. It's the same thing. It's just like, well, how do you want to come in and get your food? And that's how I see Xbox's strategy. Again, will that translate to entertainment? I don't know. Will that work? I don't know. I think that, like, on paper,
I think it will work because
of their portfolio that they have, it makes a lot of sense on paper, and I can't see it not working just because of the juggernaut IPs that they now have under their belt. Like,
the games and Game Pass is what brings the money in.
Right.
So that's what's important. That's why they're putting their focus on it. Again, they're gonna have, like you said, they're gonna have more consoles.
Yeah.
But
like, for me, like, I really have kind of like, it's been a year where I've really wrestled with the fact, and for me, it's about breaking conventions. Where like a year ago, because we are coming up on a year, it was like February 3rd or 4th when I was sitting there with Ty and Kenwall on that Sunday night, and the news broke that Xbox was like going to put more of their games on other consoles, right? And like over the course of the year, like I kind of wrestled with the thought of it, but now I've come kind of full circle on it, where it's like at the end of the day, the ecosystem is what I want to see survive, and so like. If my game purchases are safe, if my Xbox, the footprint that I've made on Xbox, it can survive. Like, these are great games. If you are a PlayStation gamer and you've never played Gears of War or Halo, you are in for a fucking treat. These games are incredible games that you need to play, and I want more people to play them. I want more people to enjoy them. That's great to me.
My only worry is, for me, the ecosystem, I don't care about that stuff.
Well, we have differing.
Yeah. For me, will the quality of games from other studios still be as high? Or will they even attempt to do something simply because Xbox is doing it, so we don't need to do it? That's my only, like...
You mean, like, other developers not putting stuff on the Xbox platform?
No. Other developers making games, like... So we had this conversation with Call of Duty when they bought Call of Duty, where it's like, oh, well, Sony just needs to go make a shooter, and it's like, yeah, they can, but Call of Duty is such a juggernaut that you make a shooter and you better do it. You better sell your soul when you make this shooter, because it's Call of Duty's gonna steamroll it. Nobody's gonna make a shooter in the vein of Call of Duty. They're gonna do something else. And with these games going everywhere, like, we're not gonna see other. We might not see how can I put it? Am I making sense? Like.
I'm not gonna lie to you, not really. I'm sorry, I'm trying to follow.
Like,
just not
okay, if Mario Odyssey was on
You're saying
Xbox
other
and
developers
PlayStation,
might not try because
if Mario Odyssey was on Xbox and PlayStation, would we have gotten a Astro Boy? That's
Astrobot,
that
okay.
Astrobot.
I know what you're saying. You're saying that if Xbox puts their games everywhere, will PlayStation try as hard to make great games?
Games similar to the ones that Xbox like. It's
yeah, I agree.
That's literally my only concern is for.
I think that's a valid concern, and it's one that people aren't really thinking about. I would say at that point, if there's a lack of innovation, then aren't you kind of as a competitor, PlayStation as a competitor, are you kind of just playing into Xbox's hand at that point? Where Phil's sitting here saying, we don't care about the game. If we make the best games, then the only question is whose hardware is the best hardware? Who's offering the best services? So if PlayStation checks out, I don't think they will, for the record.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Your concern, I think, is a valid one. Where, like, let's say PlayStation is like, all right, well, we're gonna double.
Well, just what about third party? Just like, you know.
So let's tackle the first one, right? So let's say PlayStation, they sit and they look at it and they're like, okay, Xbox is putting all their games on our platform. We don't really view Nintendo as a competitor in the same aspect as we viewed Xbox. We're just gonna sit back and, like, we're gonna raise the price of the PlayStation by 100%. We're gonna slap another $200 onto that price tag, so we stop losing money on console sales. We're gonna start, like, just doing some really consumer unfriendly stuff because we're PlayStation, we're the market leader, and we're the only place where these exclusive games are.
Well, I didn't say all that. Like,
well, no, but it goes along with it.
It doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to, but they're corporations, they're companies. If PlayStation runs unopposed, what makes you think they're not going to, like, that's... Competition is what makes things... Competition is good for industries. If there's no competition in an industry, you can do whatever the fuck you want. If you're the only, I don't know, milk factory in the country, it's like you're gonna sell milk at whatever fucking price you want because
no, I agree.
It's like, oh, you don't want to buy this milk? Okay, well, you're not getting milk then.
But I think that's an even more reason to keep a box.
If there's two factories and, like, you're competing who could do better milk for cheaper, that helps consumers. So that's kind of like you didn't say that, but it kind of turns in the concern turns into that. Is that if PlayStation ends up being a monopoly on the gaming industry, it's like, well, you know, if they...
Let's go back to the software, though. Like, do you think...
games again, huh?
Yeah, you went to bashing Sony. I'm like, oh, what if the game...
I said they were the industry leader. What are you talking
You're like,
about?
they're going to slap $100 more, 100% more, and then $200 more. It's like,
no, for the record...
Wait, slow down. Let's not...
Hold on, for the record, if the roles were reversed, Xbox would do the same thing.
Okay, but that's... You just want to shit on Sony. Let's go back to...
I literally said they're the market leader. What are we fucking talking about?
You're like... Okay, but if Xbox is that, then Sony was gonna raise it by 100%, slap another $200 on, and it's like
you're turning.
You don't need to. No, you're the one that did it.
No, you're turning this into something that's just not.
Can we talk about the software, just games? Can we talk about will there be a competition in software? That's what I want to.
Right, but it's the same thing. It's the same point. Is your concern was, and correct me if I'm wrong. Your concern is that if Xbox isn't competing on a software level, PlayStation. Because you did say third party secondly, but let's focus on first party. So Sony, if Xbox doesn't care about exclusives, and so Sony doesn't need to compete as hard in the software market, because guess what? They're the only game in town in terms of exclusive games.
No, it's not to compete as hard. Okay, Indiana Jones.
But you're also looking at it from a quality perspective.
Indiana Jones is huge, right? Huge IP.
Sure.
That led to Nathan Drake.
Yes. Uncharted, yes.
And Nathan Drake...
And Tomb Raider.
Yeah, and Nathan Drake led to Tomb Raider.
Other way around, but sure.
Oh, you mean game-wise. Or yeah. Tomb Raider first, and then Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
If
I get what you're saying, but, like...
Yeah, if that's
already... You're not agreeing with my
if that's already
analysis.
out there, I can't see someone else... right now, today, I can't see any company coming out with a game that is similar to that style. A Tomb Raider game that isn't Nathan Drake, Tomb Raider, or Indiana Jones. I just don't see that happening at all, because that's already out there. That exists, and I don't see PlayStation putting out anything Tomb Raider-esque that isn't under the Nathan Drake brand, because that's what Nathan Drake is, you know. So that's my concern.
I guess I get what you're saying. I agree with it, but when I tried to explain it as basically the same thing, you said I wasn't getting.
Yeah, you just want to shit on Sony.
I really am not, dude. I really don't understand. Like, I really am not. It's literally economics. It's competition in a marketplace. You want me to take Sony out of it? Okay, it happens in wrestling. WWE was the only game in town for 20 years, and they stopped caring about the quality of their product. It's just factually competition. It's not shitting on anybody. It's just the facts.
But it hasn't happened.
No, it hasn't. But, like,
you're talking about it as if it's going to happen.
But you're also talking about a hypothetical.
Yeah, but you're talking about it as if it's going to happen. I'm saying I'm wondering what's going to happen.
But I'm speculating just like you are. You're saying PlayStation. Like, I wonder if PlayStation is going to stop trying to make
Not just
good
PlayStation,
shooters.
just just developers.
Yeah, but at first, when we started the conversation, we were talking about direct competitors, which would be PlayStation, and PlayStation probably doesn't view Nintendo as competition in the same way.
I'm worried about games across, exclusive, non-exclusive. It doesn't matter. I'm worried about games that developers are making. Will they still make the same game simply because, it's already out there? Xbox put this out there everywhere. We don't need to make something that's exclusive to one console.
Well, then those
Or
companies are going
exclusive
to go
to-
out of business if they're not going to keep making games. I mean, it's kind of factual. These third parties, if they don't make games, guess what? They're not making games. They're going to go out of business. Because people like Ty are going to be like, rent's due.
Yeah, I guess.
Give me money. Did you make a game this week? No? Okay.
I mean, I guess they could make something new, but it's just like sometimes the second version of an idea is better than the original. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. So to continue on though, Ty says no, this isn't true. The team wanted to make a Tomb Raider. This wasn't a Sony thing. Mass Effect is a thing because BioWare didn't want to make Star Wars anymore. Nothing to do with Xbox or Sony. Yeah, that was kind of what I was saying. It wasn't.
Yeah, but like you said, Mass
You're trying
Effect.
to turn it into like I'm smash.
Mass Effect
shitting
is
on
a
Sony.
thing.
Like, I'm really not.
Because they didn't want to work on Star Wars anymore. They were inspired by Star Wars, so they made Mass Effect. They were inspired by one thing, so they made the other. If that was already out there, if there was a Star Wars game like Mass Effect out there already, they wouldn't have made Mass Effect.
Ty says PlayStation can't stop making good games because the competition now is money. If Last of Us 3 sucks, no one will buy it regardless if Xbox isn't around. It's about profit margins.
He also said Astrobot would still come out if Mario was everywhere, and if
I
not,
missed that.
Team Asobi would make another quality game. But for me, they still make Astrobot. Yeah, maybe.
Excuse me.
Soldiering through.
Doing what I can. To continue, Phil says, let's go build innovative hardware that people want to use to play. Spencer described an Xbox future that targets multiple hardware endpoints. Whether it's in their hands, whether it's inside their TVs. I love our hardware team. I spent some time with them just this week and the roadmap they have. We're learning a lot from this, like Steam Deck, ROG Ally, Lenovo Legion Go. What does it mean for Xbox to be on these platforms? He says, Xbox has been working hard to bridge the gap between Xbox. Quote, we haven't tuned it perfectly yet, and I spent a lot of time with the teams on that. I want to make progress there. From LG TVs and the work we're doing on cloud, all of that helps us evolve our platform software so that we really embrace allowing someone to be a member of Xbox on whatever screen they want to play on. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, so time will tell if that works out. Phil also was talking about brand identity and how it's evolving. To keep first-party games exclusive to its own platform is no longer a path for Xbox. When asked by Dustin Liguri if Indiana Jones: The Great Circle Starfield would continue to have an exclusivity window on Xbox systems, Spencer replied very simply, no. There's no reason for me to put a ring fence around any game and say this game will not go to a place where it would find players, where it would have a business success for us, Spencer explained. Our strategy is to allow games to be available. Game Pass is an important component of playing the games on our platform. But to keep games off other platforms, we don't think this is the path. That's not a path for us. It doesn't work for us. Quote, what we're doing now, we think really enables us to build the best platform for the world's best games. Because the world's biggest games are available in multiple places. And more creators are asking us, how do we stay connected when our game might be playable in all of these different places? And we want Xbox to absolutely be the platform that enables that. We think that makes us unique. Most of the other platforms out there are single platform and single device, whether that's PC, mobile, or console. And we want Xbox to be a platform that enables creators across any screen that people want to play on. When pressed on whether Xbox's change in strategy means it may lose its identity, Spencer was firm about that too. He says, I hear them. I'm pretty active in our player base and I'm active in the community. I listen. I think our identity will continue to evolve, which frankly it always has. But when I hear concerns about, is my library of games safe? Am I still going to be able to play the games? And I think over the years, I'm proud of the commitment we've shown to respecting purchases on our platform through back compat, through cross entitlement, Xbox Play Anywhere, through crossplay. Things that we've done to enable people to continue to play. So I hear that. I see the investments we're making in platform and how we want Xbox to show up in multiple places and your library to be available there. When I think about buy to stream, so when if I buy a game, I'll be able to stream it to devices. This is all about making sure that your library of games that you own on Xbox are playable in multiple places. So I'd say it's an evolution of our identity, but I believe it's an identity that this industry needs. When you think about where this industry is now and you see the challenges, the business challenges that are out there are there for many companies. I think us making games more accessible to more people has just got to be front and center for us as an industry so we continue to see great games that we've seen over the years. So this is a sentiment from Phil that I can actually I can understand it, right? And I hear what he's saying, and I think a big thing about Xbox's strategy is we're not there yet, in a sense that the idea that Phil has, the vision that I think Phil has, is to have it so, like, if you boot up an Xbox game, right? Say you play it on your console. Say you stream it. Like, I think the future, or not the future, but the need for this to work for Xbox is buy anywhere, play anywhere. So if you buy it on your Xbox's console store front, you should be able to stream it on your phone, play it on your TV, play it on PC. When the handheld's out, like, it doesn't matter where you bought it where you bought it. If you bought it on the Xbox store, you should be able to play it, stream it, whatever. And I think that for them, that's important. Same thing goes with cross progression, where it's like, let's say the Xbox, like, let's fast forward 5 years from now, the Xbox handheld's a thing. Let's say someone's like, okay, when I'm at home, I stream it on my smart TV. Let's say they're playing South of Midnight, right? And they play for 5 hours, and then, like, okay, well, I'm going away this week. You get your Xbox handheld, take it with you, sit down at that hotel room, boot it up on your Xbox handheld console, and the save is exactly where you left it.
Which, that's already a thing.
It is, but I think it needs to be more perfected, and I think that a lot of it is, like, there's been rumblings about it, but I think for Xbox, you need to get every game on your platform on board with that vision. And that's hard. I don't know if you could do that with third parties. I don't know if third parties are going to be down for that.
Yeah.
But I think for it to work, if you're talking about the future, which is Xbox as a platform, not just the console. If you're talking about the ecosystem and what they've envisioned it, I think it needs to be that. Will it be that? I don't know. But I think the part of the vision for it to work, it needs to be that. What do you think about that?
No, I agree. It needs all those things. Another thing is, I already said I'm out on the next Xbox console. I mean, it was too early to tell. The next Xbox console, and you and Ty have both said that it should be this as well.
Yeah.
A PC. I want to be able to access Windows on my console through my TV.
Yes.
If it can do
I think
that,
it needs to have a Steam storefront.
if it can do that, and on the handheld as well, the handheld it's necessary for the handheld. The console itself, if it can do that, you got me back in. Like, if it's a
well, I agree with that. I think that it needs to do that.
yeah.
And I think that's the future, though. I think that really is. I think
If I can have Steam on my Xbox along with,
that would be so insane.
yeah, that would be insane. It would be a game changer.
And then the Xbox controller, like at the console reveal, it's like, and it's like a mouse. It's like,
But it's not clear.
yeah, they tried the controller upside down, and we're sitting there like, what the fuck is he doing? It's Phil Spencer. He's just like, click, 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 click.
No, I mean, yeah, they're gonna start selling, Xbox branded mice, and which I'm sure that's already out
I think
there.
they already are. Yeah. Well, I know
Yeah.
the Series X is compatible with mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
It's just,
I think all of them are, except for
the Series S is too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I think
PlayStation's not though.
yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Bluetooth. But yeah, all of those are. It's still up in the air.
Yeah. For now, we just have to enjoy the games.
Yeah.
Because unless we're talking about the Switch 2, games matter. Switch, like, that's the disconnect. When we're talking about the Switch 2, games don't matter. We're talking about anything else.
No, when we're talking about the Switch 2 console reveal, say that, because that's what I said.
Deborah just said when we're talking about the
Switch
Switch
2 console reveal.
the Switch 2
Console reveal. There you go. There you go.
Games don't matter.
There you go.
But everything else, games matter.
Yeah. There you go.
The next Xbox reveal, games matter.
Xbox reveal?
Yeah, the next PlayStation console.
No.
Wow. You heard it here first.
If they show me the next Xbox and the
Everyone
next
does not-
Xbox handheld and it's a 5-minute video and it's just, I'm happy with that.
You heard it here first, folks. Devereaux does not care about games quality.
When it's a console reveal, no.
I guess I'm going to skip the next one because it kind of was covered in the last one, but Phil basically suggests that Starfield going to come to PlayStation. He's like, yeah, no, there's nothing stopping it.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit. The next one, Phil says that he confirms that Xbox is going to support the Switch 2. He called Nintendo's president, or he emailed Nintendo's president, congratulated him on the reveal. And he says that his old eyes appreciate the larger screen.
Yeah, everyone wanted a larger screen. Larger screens on handhelds is kind of going across the board. I think 8 inches
That's
is
technology
one
in
of the
general.
bigger side.
Remember, like when they were like the phones, got to make them as small as possible.
And now it's just like
Now it's just like they got to be bigger.
But I think the Switch 2 has an 8-inch screen. Those are like the rumors right now.
Yeah.
And that's
Shame Nintendo didn't say it during the console reveal.
but that's bigger
That would've
than
made sense.
That's bigger than the Switch. I mean, that's bigger than like the Steam Deck, which I think has the biggest screen. It's like 7.6 or
Shame
something
they
like
didn't
that.
confirm it during the console reveal.
Yeah.
Could also argue it's a bad console reveal because they just give you enough information about the console itself. Anyways, lastly for the Phil Spencer stuff, that's not the right link. I found this kind of a bummer, but
Yeah.
Phil Spencer says that Xbox has no plans to dump the Series S compatibility requirement.
Which I get, but I just hate it.
I think that I think it's kind of contradictory to what Phil wants to do with the next generation of Xbox.
I think it's the opposite. It's like you said. You think the next console is going to come with
hardware
a
specifically.
yeah. The next console you think they're going to have a thing like something traditional and then a handheld, and you want the games to run parity on both. So it's the same thing with the S.
So my perspective here is that Phil talks about like, okay, well if you're putting your games everywhere, what's going to make people want to buy into an Xbox? And for him, he says having the best hardware available is what we want to compete. We want to compete in hardware, and I think that
But that's
by
not true.
shackling yourself, that's what he said.
Yeah.
I'm just going off what he said.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what he said. We just
no,
read
you're
the-
right. You're right.
If Phil's saying we want to compete in terms of hardware, and how are we going to compete? Well, we're going to have the best hardware. I think you're shackling yourself and therefore shooting yourself in the foot, saying like, okay, like let's say Xbox makes this amazing piece of hardware, this next generation Xbox, like don't know anything about it yet really. Like let's say it's like, hey,
The million teraflops.
it's just the most powerful thing. It blows whatever anyone else is putting out
It's still
there.
tethered to the whatever the S is.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, well, how great can your hardware? Maybe the hardware is great, but how great is the software going to be on that hardware if it's just running the Series S version? And I think that for me, that's kind of where I look at it.
Ty says, did you hear what Digital Foundry said? They said the Series S allows Xbox to scale a handheld, and all their developers have that experience. He said PlayStation's handheld would struggle, and there's more coming for that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess from that perspective, like having the two SKUs would help with the handheld.
Yeah, that's and not even that, but like lower end PCs as well.
He says because it doesn't have that template, it'll be easier for Xbox to make a handheld because.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah. It just sucks that it's like you said.
Yeah,
it doesn't
It just feels like you're just not unlocking the full power
of whatever.
Even the Series X. Like I just
Yeah.
don't. I feel like I love the Series X. I love the hardware. I really do. But like,
And the games do
part of
run
me
better
want-
and look better than the
yeah,
S.
but part of me wonders is like, man, could it be a little bit better?
yeah, and it could.
Yeah, it probably could.
But I think having it tethered to that lower end console of whatever it is also has it tethered to like lower end PCs. Again, they want their game everywhere, so it's like they kind of have to work on the lowest common denominator.
Right. All right. Well, we're moving on finally past Phil Spencer. Some big news for Pokemon TCG Pocket. The new expansion is arriving this week.
2 days
Well, technically, trading begins tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Trading will be added to the app going live tomorrow.
I think you can only trade with friends.
So you can only trade with friends. You can only trade cards that have the similar rarity.
Yeah.
And there's also a consumable item
Yeah.
that limits how much you can trade. Which I think that we're still going to be able to really help each other fill out our.
Ty, we're not saying the S isn't dope. It's that it restricts some of the power of the X. If I'm making a game that has to run on the S, it's going to be weaker than like a game that only has to run on the X.
No, hold on. The Series S does suck. PS5 for life. Love PlayStation.
That hurt a little bit, your soul.
I'm a Sony fanboy.
You're not a Sony fanboy.
Yeah, you got the PlayStation right there.
You're the furthest thing from a
The
Sony
PS5 is
fanboy
right there.
that could be.
Look, I got. See?
You're not a Sony fanboy.
Look at me playing PlayStation.
I should clip that of you saying it's a Sony fanboy and just play it back to you. And let it cut pieces of your soul.
I'm a PlayStation fanboy. Whoa, the controller. No, actually, I do love the dual. The haptic.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't hate PlayStation. You think I do? I don't hate PlayStation.
You hate Sony.
No, I just think
You hate Sony.
I just prefer Xbox. I'm allowed to have a preference.
You are, but you shit on Sony a lot.
I don't hate.
You don't even realize you're doing it. That's the funny part.
I talk about PlayStation like I play a game and I'm like, oh, I really love Horizon Zero Dawn. Or I love.
You can't even help yourself sometimes. You just shit on Sony.
I don't.
You do.
No, you just.
And you don't even. I don't assume. I'm there next to you. I hear it. I hear you doing
I
it.
didn't shit on PlayStation earlier. It's so funny that you thought I did.
We were talking about something completely
I said
different.
they're a market leader.
And then you talked about how Sony's gonna like take over the world.
No, if they're a monopoly, yeah, they're probably gonna raise the price of their console.
But that wasn't even the conversation.
It kind of led.
You led it there.
Okay, you asked me. We were having a conversation. Well, I understand. Anyways, training's coming out tomorrow, and then one day later, the new expansion, Space Time SmackDown, arrives on the 29th, and it's going to have 2 different packs. It seems like it's going to have Dialga and
Palkia or something like that.
Palkia. I've never.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gen 4, not my gen. Sorry. Gen 4 was actually the gen that I stepped away and actually didn't play for like years. Because I played Gen 1, 2, and 3.
I wonder what we rated it. I don't remember what we rated it.
I don't remember either.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Okay. I don't remember being very fond of it though. Even playing it like retro, like
It got high because of Forrest. That was his
Forrest
game.
really loves it, but I mean, like, he's not here, so fuck him. But so yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, I mean, I'm still logging in every day to Pocket. I'm not really looking forward to there being 2 more packs because I still haven't finished the original base set even yet. I'm close. I'm hoping that trading can really help push me over the edge.
Yeah, we'll have to come over. Like one day, we'll come over and just whatever cards you're missing, whatever cards I'm missing, we'll have to trade.
Honestly, if we could trade, like we might be able to like do it like just me
Like, from distance,
Yeah, I would assume. So that's something to look forward to. Number 5 in the headlines was a headline from previous weeks. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's basically it was a bunch of leaks that came out from Nate the Hate and Jez Corden about games going everywhere. So right now, the rumors were that Halo and like Microsoft Flight Simulator were going to go on the PS5 and Switch 2 this year. And then also on the flip side, Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth were also going to be coming. So the rumor right now is that Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming out this year for Xbox. Give me what I want. Rebirth will be coming out 2026 for Xbox. Which again,
I think recently
give me what I want.
was it? I don't know. I think it was Remake went to Steam
Rebirth
recently.
went to Steam.
Rebirth went to Steam and like
It's the top
yeah,
game.
it's selling great.
It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Game. Well, I loved it.
We by the way, we ranked Diamond and Pearl both B, mid B.
That's fair. That's where I'd put it. Yeah, maybe a little bit lower, but that's fine.
Yeah, I think you tried to get it lower.
I'm not a Gen 4 guy. Like, I love Heart Gold Soul Silver, which is their Gen 4 games technically. It's like those are the best Pokemon games. But if you're talking about just Diamond and Pearl, it doesn't. I don't know.
I enjoyed playing the remake because I missed top-down Pokemon.
The remakes were fine, but I guess what you're like, you missed the top-down perspective, and that was the appeal of it. So yeah. But thoughts on? Again, this is kind of just we were going to touch base on this a little bit. So thoughts on Halo going to PS5 and Nintendo Switch, and the Final Fantasy games remakes coming to Xbox.
I mean, it's like you said before. Good
Play
for you guys.
It's
Play
great.
it. They're
Play
great
Halo
games.
Master Chief Collection.
Yeah.
Play that game. If
And-
you have not played Halo, you are doing yourself a favor. Buy it. Buy it.
If they're going to do that, especially with Halo, I mean Gears too, but like Halo has my heart. I hope that crossplay online can open up for all 3 consoles
think it
or
will.
all of just let everyone play online.
Call of Duty has crossplay between Xbox and PlayStation.
Okay.
I mean, crossplay's kind of a thing at this point.
I know Sony doesn't like to play fair with crossplay sometimes.
Careful, don't bash Sony.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for you to.
Yeah, fuck them.
but yeah, it's like these games are great. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's move on. This is some news that came out today. I'm a little concerned. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not a fan of this news personally.
I didn't know that.
People Can Fly announced today that it's co-developing Gears of War E-Day with the Coalition. Quote, returning to collaborate on the next chapter of this legendary saga is both a privilege and an exciting opportunity to build upon the intense, visceral action and rich storytelling that fans have come to love. We are deeply grateful for our partners' trust and support on this journey, says People Can Fly's CEO, Sebastian, not even going to try. I will try. Wojciechowski.
I can't even see it. Oh.
Wojciechowski.
Oh yeah, that's
Wojciechowski.
Mike Wazowski.
So it was really interesting. People realized they put out this graphic, and the graphic was dated for 2024. It's like, why did they wait till this year to announce it for People Can Fly? It was kind of weird.
Do you not like People Can Fly?
So
Do you not like them as a developer?
Here's my thing, right? I don't think I like People Can Fly because I wasn't a huge fan of Bulletstorm.
Oh, I loved Bulletstorm.
It didn't click with me really, and the parts that did probably could have been expanded on in a sequel, and they never made a sequel.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So I ended up not really being a fan of Bulletstorm, and then so they did make Gears of War Judgment, which has some cool stuff about it, but from a gameplay perspective, it's the worst Gears of War in my opinion.
I agree with that. You had me play it. It was very sluggish.
Yeah, very sluggish.
But
very
again,
generic shooter kind of.
They're not. It sounds like they're not leading the reins.
Yeah,
they're just and I'm okay with that. I have so much. The Coalition can't do. In my opinion, the Coalition can't do wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
no, yeah, 100%.
They're such a good developer that it's like
Gears 4 and 5 are so phenomenal.
Having them lead the reins and having People Can Fly behind them, I'm not worried. If it was just People Can Fly, I'd be a lot more worried.
Before we get to Ty's question, I just want to say again, because you're playing this again.
You can hear the music?
I can't hear it, but... Well, I can.
You can, yeah.
I can hear it in my head, but,
yeah.
I'm so excited for Gears of War E-Day.
Yeah.
Oh, God, the E-Day. As a Gears fan,
You made me a Gears fan, by the way.
I'm so happy that I did. And,
yeah.
again, when these games go to other consoles, please listen to me. If you have not played Gears of War, it is not... People there's always such this misconception of what Gears of War is, that it's some muscle-headed, roided out, just dudes yeah, it's kind of that, but
the first game is a lot like that. The second game,
but
it gets
even
better.
In the first game, the lore is there. You just got to explore it and learn it, and it's such a fucking. I love Gears of War, and I'm so excited for E-Day. It's so funny to me that if E-Day does come out this year, if someone put a gun to my head right now and this is a hot take, it's fine. I don't care. Someone's coming out this year. What would you rather play? Gears of War E-Day or GTA 6? Give me Gears of War. It's just
yeah.
Series finale of video games can wait. I gotta get a Gears of War in before. Ty says, question. Phil says he wants the hardware to be the differentiator and not the games, no exclusives. If Nintendo and Sony decide to follow this path,
of having
is there any downsides?
Having the hardware be the differentiator? I don't think there's. I don't think
there's any downsides necessarily. I mean, here's the thing, and we talked about this, right? If PlayStation and Nintendo were to follow Xbox's example or method, if let's say 5-10 years from now, Xbox is just printing money, right? Let's say they're putting their games everywhere. They have their home base core group and Game Pass, but everybody's buying all of their games. PlayStation looks at it and they're like, damn, we're selling a lot of games now, but if let's say Xbox has, in terms of users, right? Because here's the thing: if Xbox, you reach out into the cloud gaming, you reach out to the phones and the smart TVs, you would have to assume they're going to pick up new customers through those avenues, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Xbox grows their base across all platforms, and
you have somebody who exclusively plays Xbox games on their smart TV. It's like, oh, well, what if I sell God of War to that guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we're looking at it as like, well, oh, would it make sense for PlayStation to put like on a dying Xbox console marketplace where it's like it's not just about the console, it's about everywhere. And I think that if everyone followed suit, I think all the companies would make more money because again, like PlayStation's the market leader, right? Let's say, and I'm just throwing numbers out there, right? Let's say there's 100 million PlayStation users, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's 40 million Xbox console users, right? Let's say that Xbox console number, maybe it dwindles down to 20 million or whatever. But those other 20 million, they just do different avenues of Xbox. And then, like, in the meantime, like, that's still 40 million there. And then, like, let's say they're bringing in a more casual audience, someone who just streams on their TV, someone who just plays the Xbox games on their phone. Like, it's like, wow, what if we put God of War on that marketplace on their phone? What if we put God of War on the smart TVs in the Xbox marketplace?
So
you're still making the sale of the software.
All the upsides that you're naming right now are upsides for Sony and Nintendo, for the companies.
Right, but isn't that what he's asking?
But if that is, then no, there are no downsides. There might be downsides for the consumer, though. That's the part.
I'm actually curious to hear that.
It's again, I think competition is still really good.
But I would argue, wouldn't they still be competing because you're still like just because you're available on all marketplaces, like if someone only has $60 to spend, and it's like, oh, should I get the new Gears of War or should I get the new Horizon game? Like you're still competing.
Okay.
You're just available in more places. Which is why I said that, like, in a perfect world, Xbox's strategy makes so much sense. But the question is it a perfect world? I don't want you to say it sounds like Sony bashing because I don't think you're going to disagree with me here.
The thing is, though,
why would PlayStation follow suit though? Outside of just selling more units.
The reason it's such a smart decision for Sony is because they're in third place.
Okay.
If all of this was happening and it was PlayStation doing all of this, this would be the wildest thing. Like I would not be able to imagine it.
It would make no sense.
Yeah, but because Xbox is in third place and that's why they're moving to like a publishing third party, it makes more sense for them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Let's carry on. Next up in the headlines. This was something that was another one of the three things that I kept from the last scripts. So Sony canceled some more live service games. Both Bluepoint and Bend were making live service games, including a God of War live service game, which people were kind of generally like, why the fuck? And this is not my words. I know. Say I'm not bashing them, but people in general that I saw online on Blue Sky were like, why the fuck are you making a God of War live service game?
Which is why they cut it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think they're like, man, we have disagreements about live service games, and it is what it is. I think Jim Ryan really set the brand back. Not the brand, but the output of the brand. Because remember last year when we were talking, like PlayStation had like
it was like 12?
Like 12.
It was a lot.
Like double digit live service games in development.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, Concord came out. That's one of the 12. And they just canceled 2 more. So there's still like 9 more out there.
They canceled Last of Us. Remember that's
Factions got there's 8 out there still.
Yeah.
But again, like these are all teams spending money making games.
Yeah.
Like these teams could be making something else, and now like game development takes time.
I agree.
Like if they're working on this stuff for years and then you cancel their game, it's like they're starting from scratch again.
But
how long is it going to be until we see the next game from Bend Studio?
It was such an absurd number. I think it was 12. I could be wrong.
It was 12. Yeah.
I don't think they were planning to come out with 12 live service games.
No, they were developing 12. That was the story.
But I think I agree. But I don't think at the end, I don't think they were like, and we're going to come out with all like they were
going to come out at different times.
No, I didn't think they were going to like release 12 live service games.
You think they just started making games and they were like, we're not going to put this out?
I think
sounds like a waste of money.
It does.
Ty, the shareholder, not happy with this problem.
But I do think they were testing again. Remember, they purchased Bungie mainly to help them with live service games. Like I think they're
then Destiny started dying off.
Yeah, But I think it's like they're testing the waters, and the most upsetting one is factions, because the idea of factions, and like it sounds like they got pretty far with factions before they cut it. That's the most upsetting one, especially because there was already a multiplayer Last of Us game out there, but like it's not right now. Them canceling, if what's the other game that Bungie's making right now? Marathon. If Marathon gets canceled, that's when I'd be like, okay, this was they went way over their head. This isn't what they were supposed to happen.
So you don't think they're there yet?
No, I don't think they're there yet. But I do think
I disagree strongly. I think you look at Concord and it flopped, horrendously. It's
died.
It's going to go down in the annals of video game history as like the biggest flop from a high regarded public from PlayStation. This is a PlayStation first party game that like they couldn't get people to play the free beta. It's like this game.
What's funny is even though it flopped,
they shut this game down 2 weeks after launch.
I still feel like Anthem was a way bigger tragedy than this game.
I think that's just
remember this game. This game worked fine. This game didn't have. It wasn't like this game was too buggy to play, or it was just like no one was playing it because it was.
But I think that kind of makes it worse. Because here's the thing: Anthem was a bad game. So nobody played it.
This just didn't stand out, though.
But that's worse than being bad, in my opinion. That's worse than being bad.
I don't think
the fact that this game came out and there was really nothing wrong with it from a critique standpoint. Remember how IGN was like, "This is gonna be a great game of the year. It's a great game. Here's our preview. It's gonna be amazing." And then it died. It died a horrible, miserable death. But also, IGN really loves to glaze PlayStation. They're like, it's kind of impressive.
To me, one of the biggest factors, I mean, I guess you said the free beta, no one's playing that either, but like a $60 game for a new IP live service game doesn't make sense to me. So
I really wonder how I sound on this podcast with my I feel the scratchiness in my voice right now.
Service games is because they were greenlit, and that was additional money given to make live service games. They wouldn't have greenlit this money for single player games, at least for the majority. Maybe. Yeah, but I agree. Like again, I think they're not there yet. I think they're like 80% there, and that's why they're cutting out. I think we're going to hear a lot more live service games get cut, and they're going to come out with like 3 max.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Next up in the headlines, I guess at this point it's like a week old, but still going to go over it. Yeah. So this was the second half of January Game Pass drop. Available for Game Pass Ultimate, Lonely Mountain Snow Riders, coming soon, which is actually out now.
Oh yeah.
To Game Pass Standard, Flock, a multiplayer co-op game about the joy of flight and collecting adorable flying creatures with your friends. Soar through beautiful landscapes, seeking out rare and exclusive creatures to add to your flock. Gigantic Rampage Edition came out on Game Pass Ultimate and Standard. Kinitsugami Path of the Goddess came out on consoles Game Pass Standard. Magical Delicacy Standard. Tchia, which was that PlayStation exclusive game for a little while, on Game Pass Standard as well, which I believe everything on Standard is just also on Ultimate. Case of the Golden Idol is now on Standard. This was already on Ultimate. Played it, loved it. I think you'd like it.
What's it called?
Case of the Golden Idol.
Okay.
It's really good. Starbound is now out on Game Pass Ultimate. It's on PC Game Pass, and now it's coming to console and cloud. In Starbound, you create your own story. There's no wrong way to play. You may choose to save the universe from forces that destroyed your home, uncovering greater galactic mysteries in the process, or you may wish to forego a heroic journey entirely in favor of colonizing uncharted planets. Seems like a spaceship kind of game. Oh, no, actually, hold on. Look at some gameplay.
Yeah, as you.
It kind of looks like a mining kind of game.
Yeah, it's Terraria.
Yeah, it's like Terraria, but I think it seems like you can also go into space. Also coming, Eternal Strands. That actually comes out on Game Pass tomorrow on Ultimate. It is a debut fantasy title from Yellow Brick Games, a new independent studio founded by industry vets from franchises including Dragon Age, Mass Effect, Watch Dogs, and Assassin's Creed. Fight epic, towering creatures while blending magical abilities with an arsenal of powerful weapons to keep the world from crumbling in this third-person action-adventure game. That sounds pretty good. Orcs Must Die Death Trap comes to Game Pass Ultimate. That's a day one launch. Shady Part of Me coming to Game Pass Ultimate. And Sniper Elite Resistance comes out January 30th, which I'm very excited for. And that's a day one launch on Game Pass Ultimate. Excuse me. Citizen Sleeper 2 Star Wars Vector, January 31st. Far Cry New Dawn is coming to Game Pass Ultimate February 4th. And yeah, that is the Game Pass releases for January and one from February. Big pick for me here is Sniper Elite Resistance. Sniper Elite's really good. You get to kill Nazis. And honestly, I think that's what we all need to be doing right now, is killing Nazis.
In video games. In Minecraft.
No, we should be killing Nazis. Always remember, folks, there's nothing wrong with punching a Nazi. And if someone says you're being too political, why are we why is being a Nazi a political thing? That's like, no. We don't defend Nazis.
You punch them.
Exactly. At minimum, punch them. Next up, number 9, the headlines. John Romero, the designer of the original Doom, thinks Game Pass is really great. John Romero sat down and did an interview with Xbox Expansion Pass, and he said that, quote, "It's great because it's try before you buy. You try something, install it. If you like it, dive in and go buy the expansions. Go get the rest of it," he says. It's a really great way to just try stuff. One thing after another thing. Really, the barrier for people to play games is just access to those games, which kind of coincides with what Xbox is saying that their vision is. Even free-to-play games, it's like knowing that those games exist, and Game Pass is like, here they are. It's really great to just have that visibility and discovery right there. You can just try stuff. It's like, oh, I've heard about this thing. Let me just install this thing and see what it's like. It doesn't hurt the game companies that made those games because they would have uninstalled it even if it took them longer to get it. I just thought it was kind of noteworthy. I mean, it's funny because as someone like me who, like, on paper, I really shouldn't like Game Pass because I like buying my games physical and I'm big on ownership, but, like, in the all-digital future, like, Game Pass really is the way to go. Like, in my opinion. It's just... But, yeah. Number 10, the headlines. Battlefield 6 is undergoing the franchise's biggest playtests ever to prevent another disastrous launch. Players have had a reasonably tough time with the franchise these past few years. 2018's Battlefield 5 launch was a disaster. 2021's Battlefield 2042 was worse, pushing a lot of fans away from the franchise. But now, with just a year until the next major installment, EA and DICE have a lot of making up to do. Officially, EA has said all of the usual buzzwords you come to expect in its financial calls to promote the next game, from innovation to groundbreaking. Vince Zampella confirmed Insider Gaming's past reports that the franchise was taking it back to its roots approach with 64 players, all-out destruction, and a modern setting.
I love that.
Yeah, it sounds great. I love Battlefield.
Yeah, I want Battlefield to survive.
I do too. It looks promising on paper, yet the scars of the past still burn today with its community, and fans of the franchise are still apprehensive about the future. Considering the franchise's last 2 blunders, it's understandable. But this time, EA and DICE seem to be all in on ensuring it doesn't happen a third time. On a funding front, the next Battlefield has the most resources in the franchise's history. Nice. 4 studios are currently working on Battlefield: DICE, Motive, Criterion, and Ripple Effect. More importantly, EA and its studios see more interesting gaming player feedback this time around, which is amazing. Of course, it's not uncommon for games to have playtests during development. Almost every game has them at one point or another, but this time around, things are a lot different. Sources say that playtests with external players are happening much more frequently than in past installments, and the amount of data and feedback collected is the most the franchise has seen in its history. From small feedback sessions to large-scale player tests, Battlefield is now taking the much-needed player-first approach. It's an approach that we'll see continue to be played out coming to the start of the year, too. It's understood that EA and its studios have been eyeing up the return of Battlefield community test environment, but to what scale that's incorporated at this time is unclear. So this actually kind of should be reassuring to your concern, because your concern was if Xbox is out there making Call of Duty and putting it everywhere,
We need we need software competition.
Yes.
And I think
Because software matters,
yes.
except for Nintendo Switch 2 console reveal.
There you go. You said the full thing.
Right.
Correct.
Great. There it is, folks. You heard it here first.
But yeah, like I want Battlefield to succeed. I want it's
Yeah,
great.
no, I know. It sounds great.
And it does. It does something different than Call of Duty. You know, like it feels different when you're playing it.
See, it's always been funny for me, right? Because like I love Call of Duty because of how it is the best feeling
Like shooter.
in terms of like, in my opinion, it feels better than Battlefield. That's kind of how I feel about
Okay.
it.
But like Battlefield's atmosphere, like
Yes, but that's the one thing that Battlefield does so much better than Call of Duty and always really has.
Yeah.
Was like I love the large scale war game where it's like I feel like I'm actually on a war zone, on a battlefield. Ha. You know. And that's something I've always loved about Battlefield. So I want Battlefield to be good. So, yeah. All right. We're almost at the finish line. I made it, Devereaux.
you did it.
The last headline for the day: Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 will release, quote, on a wide range of platforms. Genki, via IGN, spotted that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's producer, Yoshinori Kitase, and director Naoki Hamaguchi recently spoke about the Remake Part 3's platform exclusivity plans during an interview with 4Gamer. They were asked whether players should be concerned about Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 releasing exclusively for the PS6, as Part 1 was on PS4 exclusively, and obviously Part 2 was PS5. Kitase confirmed that players can rest assured about the next one. Hamaguchi chimed in, stating that all future games from Square Enix should be released on a wide range of platforms, as it allows more people to play their games. However, he will not be able to promise anything to the players at the moment, but will try his best to make their games more accessible. Genki believes Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 might still be a PlayStation exclusive, as Square Enix might have signed some sort of contract with Sony. The game could be released on day one for PS5 and PC, and if it releases alongside PS6, it might arrive as a cross-gen game, speculates Genki. But again, that's kind of speculation. We'll have to see what happens with that. Ty says, why do you keep saying or hinting that software conception isn't a thing?
I think he means competition.
Yes. Every third-party game is software competition. I mean, we have Kingdom Come Deliverance. Kingdom Come Deliverance. Assassin's Creed and Monster Hunter coming. I don't know why Deborah thinks that, there's no competition in the software sphere.
I just don't want it to go away.
No, I don't think it will, though.
You have, like you saying, with those three games, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Assassin's Creed, and Monster Hunter, those games
are competing.
They have, but they're similar in like the gameplay they have. Like they're competing, but they're not the same.
Hey, Deborah, ask me what my most anticipated game for the next month is.
What is it?
Kingdom Come Deliverance.
For example, you love the Assassin's Creed series.
Yeah.
Forrest loves the Monster Hunter series.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna play Monster Hunter.
No.
That's not your game.
No.
So that's what I mean. It's
right, but they're still competing. So Ty and I had this disagreement before, where like he doesn't think Nintendo is competition for Xbox and PlayStation. I think it is. I think you do too, correct?
Yeah.
They're all competing. They're making different experiences. That's at the end of the day, they're all still making games, entertainment. Like movies compete with games. Maybe not directly, but like in a sense, like if it's a Friday night, it's like, hey, I could either spend $60 and download this game, or I can go to the movies for $60, which is fucking horrendous, but that's how much it costs. Like, those are competing. The same thing if you walk into a store and like, hey, I want an Xbox or a PlayStation. You boot up your Xbox storefront and it's like, oh, what are the new releases? And it's Kingdom Come Deliverance, Monster Hunter, and Assassin's Creed. Guess what? All three of those are lined up for the person to make that decision. Even if it's not a hard decision for someone to make, these are still competing titles.
But what you said is they're different experiences.
But they're still competing.
Yeah. Okay, they're competing, but I want companies to still make games. Let's say we had a gaming company and we go to Ty. Ty's our money guy, and we say, "Hey, can you give us money to make a shooter similar to
And then Ty says no, and then we lay you off.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna say no. Call of Duty's too big. We're not gonna make something that competes with Call of Duty. Make something else. He won't give us the. You know what I mean? Like,
I get your point. I do.
That's the thing that I'm a little bit worried about. That's it.
Ty, can we lay Devereaux off?
I quit.
No, we're gonna we're gonna lay you off.
Fire me.
We're gonna lay you off. We're gonna give you severance. And by severance, I mean $5. You're like, here's $5. Hope it lasts a month for you.
You guys can go make your game. What game would you and Ty make? Kingdom Mom Deliverance. You guys go make your Kingdom Mom Deliverance.
Kingdom Mom Deliverance. All right, that's it for the game headlines. Let's get into our last segment of the show. The Game Informer Memorial Game releases for the week of January 27th, 2025. Coming up first on January 28th tomorrow, Cuisinier for Switch. Neptunia Riders versus Doggos. PS5, PS4, and Switch tomorrow. Orcs Must Die Death Trap, Xbox Series and PC on the 28th. That's also a Game Pass Day 1 launch. Sybil's Journey, PC, January 28th. Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on January 28th. Stone of Madness, PS5, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC on the 28th. Warside, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on the 28th. Agent Fall, all consoles, no PC though, which is really weird. January 29th. Corridon, PC, January 29th. Cryptical Path, PC, January 29th. Dead Letter Department, January 30th, PC. Sniper Elite Resistance, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, PC, and Game Pass Day 1, January 30th. Spider-Man 2 comes to PC on January 30th. And Genso Manage? Switch, PC, January 31st. My pick of the week is going to be Sniper Elite Resistance. Been a fan of the franchise for years now. New game. It's on Game Pass, which is always obviously a big plus. You're a sniper. You shoot Nazis. Game looks like a lot of fun. Deborah, what is your pick of the week?
I don't really have one. I don't know a lot of these games.
Okay. Pick Spider-Man. Spider-Man's great.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Oh,
on PC.
I can't say that. I'm PlayStation
Yeah, you
hater.
wouldn't do it, but Spider-Man 2 on PC.
Like, I haven't played it. Loved it. Yeah. Crazy. The problem is, Deborah, you forced this weird narrative.
I didn't force it. You did it yourself.
No.
You've been doing it.
Look at me.
You tried to get rid of. You tried to say Astrobot wasn't even a game.
Oh, yeah?
So
Okay.
you could rank it lower.
What button is this?
That's the cross. What,
Damn
you
it,
think,
I
you
was
think you're going to get me? You almost got me.
If you had said X, I was going to be like,
I know.
actually,
I
it's...
know.
I almost had him.
And Ty, again, you're not seeing the point. Those games you just mentioned, yes, they're all fighting games. Those are established already. Street Fighter is what? What number Street Fighter are we on?
6.
6. Dragon Ball Sparking is like all these games are in the +5. Maybe except Virtua Fighter, but that came out in 1993. I just looked it up. What's the last new fighter that came out that like took the world by storm?
There was one last year.
Like that's not part of an established.
What's it called though? I'm not a fighting guy, so I can't.
Yeah, there probably is one, but it's like not people aren't making new ones because there's these already huge established IPs in the world. You know what I mean? Like,
look, don't get me wrong. I'm definitely one of those guys who will say like, "Oh yeah, established IP, like let's go."
yeah, no, I agree, but it's like sometimes you want something that's like, I don't know, you want something that's new. Why like Titanfall 3? I would love for there to be a Titanfall 3. I would love for it to be a Titanfall 3.
Why not?
But it's like, I feel like part of it is like, hey, you're working on, what's it called? Whatever. Everything sucks.
Oh wow. You heard it here first, folks. Devereaux thinks that the Switch 2 console reveal sucks. He says everything sucks.
I just want there to still be, as you said,
I think there will be.
software conception.
I do think there will be.
And competition.
I do think there will be. But I guess we'll have to continue to see how that goes. All right. This dev guy is incorrect. He's moving the goalposts. Lay him off. We're laying you off, Devereaux.
Ty, you still haven't given me a fighter that came out that was new, that took the world by storm.
To be fair, this is the guy that tried. You know, I was talking to him the other day in the Discord, which you should join the Discord, by the way, if you're hanging out with us. I was talking to him in the Discord, and he was like, he was still trying to play like he had beaten the boss. And, like he was still. I was like, shut the fuck up! No, you haven't. Like you haven't. Stop it. I was like, bro, you like let the facade go. This guy, he's a grifter. He's a real grifter. Anyways.
But Ty, Alan Wake 2 just plays nothing like Baldur's Gate 3. I'm talking gameplay-wise.
He's a fraud, but he's cooking you right now.
Okay.
Call it like I see it.
All right.
Call it like I see it.
All right.
But I'm gonna keep playing my PlayStation.
When's the last time you turned on your PlayStation? For real?
To be fair, last year was a rough year because I played a lot of long games. Last time I turned my PlayStation on was last June. Last June.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. I want to play a PlayStation game soon. Problem is, I had Astrobot on my Christmas list. Nobody bought me for it. No, I'm dead serious. Like, it was like high on my Christmas list, and nobody bought it for me for Christmas. So I was kind of banking on that because I didn't buy it myself. Because I'm still trying to save money, so I did the one game a month thing.
Yeah.
No one bought me Astrobot. No one bought me Metaphor either. Those are two games that I actually like really wanted.
Damn.
It's fine. It is what it is. I have too many games to play, so it's like, it is what it is. But
They probably saw PlayStation and they were like, he doesn't want that. He doesn't really want that.
yeah, they were like, this fucking loser. he only plays games on dying platforms.
I don't want games to play all the same. I'm not even arguing with this Thai guy anymore.
He says, you're in denial. He said, where's your Trump hat?
Yeah, I'm not arguing with him anymore.
He thinks you're trying to make America great again.
This guy's the same guy who thinks the Switch is going to fail. It's going to flop.
Yeah, that is a bad take. The console reveal is disappointing, but it's still going to be a successful console. Anyways. Well, that's going to pretty much just do it for us here, the Game Room Podcast. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us tonight. Apologies. I really... Again, I feel it. Hopefully it didn't sound too off.
No, it's alright.
Ty says, we don't need a game like Elden Ring 2, but I can assure you Monster Hunter and Elden Ring don't want to drop near each other.
Yeah, well, hopefully they both stay out of the way of Kingdom Mom Deliverance. Because that's
That's a big time game.
But anyways, you can subscribe, like, check out our past shows, join our Discord. You can follow me on Blue Sky at RomeW. It's gonna be a hell of a week. We'll be back next week. I can't wait for these 2 weeks to fly by because I need the Super Bowl to get here. Like I need it.
I'm okay with Super Bowl taking its time. Like,
You want to enjoy it?
yeah, I've had too much heart. Like, my heart needs a break. You know. Like,
Yeah, from that perspective, yes.
yeah. Because in 2 weeks we're gonna be here sweating and our stomach's gonna be hurting. I might throw up again.
Again, if you had gone to Common last night, you wouldn't have gotten sick.
But I'd be hungry. And I had a headache already. I probably would
I
have.
said the key thing is developers and creative teams are the ones who maintain competition, not the consoles. He says, damn straight. Run away, Devro. Run far away.
I'm gonna walk away. Take my time.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, we're walking away. Well, Devro's walking away. I'm gonna go play Indiana Jones hopefully for an hour or two before bed. So yeah, alright.